Introduction to Cell Biology. Of organization. Living things are constructed of cells. Living things may be unicellular or multicellular. Cell structure is diverse, but all cells share common characteristics. Cells are small so they can exchange materials with their surroundings. Surface area relative to the volume decreases as size of cell increases. This limits the size of cells. Cell theory states: 1. All organisms are composed of one or more cells. 2. Cells are the basic unit of structure and function in organisms. 3. All cells come only from other cells. Only two basic types of cells are the building blocks of life. All living things are made of one or more cells. Only come from other cells. Prokaryotes, the studio apartment of cells. Prokaryotes can be our friends. Human body has approximately 100 trillion microbes in intestines, 10x more than the total number of human cells in the body. Bacteria that live on and in us without usually causing harm are called normal flora. Bacteria equals approximately 60% of the dry mass of poo. Relationship between gut flora and humans mutualistic, win-win. Gut microbes perform many useful functions, preventing growth of harmful, pathogenic bacteria, producing vitamins for host, such as biotin and vitamin K, producing hormones to direct host to store fats, keeping our immune system on its toes. Prokaryotes can be our foes. Clostridium members of this genus have a couple of bacterial weapons that make them particularly tough pathogens. Vegetative cells are obligate anaerobes killed by exposure to O2, but their endospores are able to survive long periods of exposure to air, known to produce a variety of toxins, some of which are fatal. Clostridium tetani equals agent of tetanus. C. botulinum equals agent of botulism. C. perfringens equals one of the agents of gas gangrene. C. difficile equals part of natural intestinal flora, but resistant strains can proliferate and cause pseudomembranous colitis. Prokaryotes. Bacteria are everywhere. Bacterial genetics. Nucleoid region of cytoplasm where prokaryotes' genome, DNA, is located. Usually a singular, circular chromosome. Plasmid, small extra piece of chromosome, genetic material. 5 to 100 genes, not critical to everyday functions. Can provide genetic information to promote antibiotic resistance, virulence factors, molecules produced by pathogen that specifically influence host's function to allow the pathogen to thrive, promote conjugation, transfer of genetic material between bacteria through cell-to-cell contact. Prokaryotes. Bacteria, also known as protoplasm, gel-like matrix of water, enzymes, nutrients, wastes, and gases and contains cell structures, location of growth, metabolism, and replication. Granules, bacteria's way of storing nutrients. Staining of some granules aids in identification. Prokaryotes. Bacteria. Cytoskeleton. Cellular and quat, scaffolding and quat, or and quat, skeleton and quat. Within the cytoplasm. Major advance in prokaryotic cell biology in the last decade has been discovery of the prokaryotic cytoskeleton. Up until recently, thought to be a feature only of eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotes. Bacteria. Ribosomes found within cytoplasm or attached to plasma membrane, made of protein and rRNA, composed of two subunits. Cell may contain thousands. Q. What do ribosomes do? Q. What's the relationship between the job that the ribosomes do and the genetic instructions, nucleic acids, of the cell? Plasma membrane separates the cell from its environment. Phospholipid molecules oriented so that hydrophilic water-loving heads directed outward and hydrophobic water-hating tails directed inward. Proteins embedded in two layers of lipids, lipid bilayer. Membrane is semi-permeable. Q. What does that mean? Bacterial cell wall peptidoglycan is a huge polymer of interlocking chains of alternating sugar monomers held together with peptide bridges. Provides rigid support while freely permeable to solutes. Two main types of bacteria cell wall. Gram-positive, gram-negative. Bacterial endospores dormant, tough, non-reproductive structure produced by small number of bacteria. Resistant to radiation, desiccation, lysozyme, temperature, starvation, and chemical disinfectants. Endospores are commonly found in soil and water, where they may survive for very long periods of time. Bacterial genus, Clostridium gram-positive obligate anaerobes bacillus-shaped endospore. Producer. The members of this genus have a couple of bacterial superpowers that make them particularly tough pathogens. They produce endospores also produce a variety of toxins, some of which are fatal. Clostridium tetani equals agent of tetanus, C. botulinum equals agent of botulism, C. perfringens equals one of the agents of gas gangrene, C. difficile equals part of natural intestinal flora, but resistant strains can proliferate and cause pseudomembranous colitis. Prokaryotes surface appendages. Some prokaryotes have distinct appendages that allow them to move about or adhere to solid surfaces. Consist of delicate stands of proteins. A couple. Example of prokaryotic surface appendages. Flagella, long, thin extensions that allow some bacteria to move about freely in aqueous environments. Singular. Flagellum, fimbriae. Most gram-negative bacteria have these short, fine appendages surrounding the cell. Gram bacteria don't have. Help bacteria stick to solid surfaces. Major factor in virulence. Singular. Fimbria. Eukaryotic cells. EU equals true, karyon equals nucleus, genetic material contained in a nuclear membrane. Membrane-bound organelles include animal, plant, fungi, algae cells as well as other microscopic eukaryotes. Evolved from prokaryotic cells. Cytoplasm nicknames. The matrix, molecular chowder fills the space between the plasma membrane and the nuclear membrane, a water-like substance that fills cells. Consists of cytosol and cellular organelles except for the cell nucleus. Cytosol is made up of water, salts, organic molecules and many enzymes that catalyze reactions. Q. Eukaryotes? Prokaryotes? Both? Cytoskeleton nicknames. Scaffolding, highways, maintains cell shape, protects the cell, enables some cell movement, using structures such as flagella and cilia, plays important roles in intracellular transport, the movement of vesicles and organelles, plays important role in cell division. Q. Eukaryotes? Prokaryotes? Both? Surface appendages. Cilia and flagella, external appendages from cell membrane. Aid in locomotion of the cell or movement of materials around cell. Cytoskeleton on inside, plasma membrane on outside. Network of protein fibers running throughout the cytoplasm that give a cell its shape and provide a basis for movement. 1. Microfilaments. 2. Intertwined strands of actin protein. 2. Intermediate filaments, fibrous proteins supercoiled into thick cables. 3. Microtubules. Hollow tubes of tubulin, cell shape, cell movement, chromosome movement during division. Highways along which the organelles travel and are conveyed. Microtubules may work alone or join with other proteins to form more complex structures called cilia. Flagella or centrioles. Cytoskeleton. centrioles and centrosomes. The centrosome, also called the enquat, microtubule, organizing center. Enquat is an area in the cell where microtubules are produced. Within the cells of animals are a pair of centriole, made of 9 sets of triplet microtubules. Ribosomes. Q. What do ribosomes do? Q. What are they made of? Can be found alone in the cytoplasm, in groups called polyribosomes, or attached to the endoplasmic reticulum. Q. Eukaryotes? Prokaryotes? Both? Membrane-bound organelles. Eukaryotic cells have many organelles. Prokaryotes only have ribosomes, which are not bound by a membrane. Membrane-bound eukaryotic organelles organize functions within the cell. System of internal membranes within eukaryotic cells that divide the cell into compartments, or organelles. System of internal membranes within eukaryotic cells that divide the cell into compartments, or organelles. Transport system for moving molecules into, out of, and through interior of cell, as well as interactive surfaces for lipid and protein synthesis. Membranes of the endomembrane system are made of a lipid bilayer with proteins. The endomembrane system consists of nucleus 2, endoplasmic reticulum 3, Golgi apparatus 4, vesicles 5, lysosomes 6. Q. What other membranous part of the cell should also be included in this list? Endomembrane system organelles. Nucleus. Nickname control center, separates the genetic material, DNA, from the rest of the cell. DNA, the genetic material, is a blueprint, or code, for making proteins. Nuclear membrane is the double membrane structure that separates nucleus from cytoplasm. Endomembrane system organelles. Endoplasmic reticulum. Nickname production factory, makes proteins and lipids. System of membranous channels and vesicles. Internal production and delivery. System of the cell. Rough is studded with ribosomes. Site of protein synthesis and processing. Smooth lacks ribosomes. Site of synthesis of phospholipids and packaging of proteins into vesicles. Endomembrane system organelles. Golgi apparatus. Nickname assembly factory, takes simple molecules and puts them together into more complex macromolecules. Packages, modifies, and transports materials to different location inside, outside of the cell. Consists of a stack of curved saccules. Receives protein and also lipid-filled vesicles from the packages. Processes and distributes them within the cell or for export out of the cell, secretion. Also encloses digestive enzymes into membranes to form lysosomes. Endomembrane system organelles. Vesicles. Nickname the trucks, store, transport, or digest cellular products and waste. Small compartments separated from the cytosol by at least one lipid bilayer. Made in Golgi apparatus, or from parts of the plasma membrane. Endomembrane system organelles. Lysosomes. View animation on endocytosis and exocytosis. Nickname recycling trucks, break down food into particles and also destroy old cellular components. Q. Which organelle produces lysosomes, contain hydrolytic enzymes and are involved in intracellular digestion? Endomembrane system organelles. Plasma membrane. What is it made of? Q. What is its function?